Good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the Board of Health virtual meeting on Thursday, March 24th, scheduled for 4 p.m. My name is Thomas Corey. Present with me via Zoom is Michael Coughlin, Dr. Stephen Gagliotti. Tess Curran, our agent of the board, is not with us today. All are participating remotely today. Sandy Barabee is tracking the meeting for us. Sandy, can you call the roll, please?
Thomas Corey,
Present.
Stephen Gagliotti,
Here.
Michael Coughlin.
Here.
Okay. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. We have the approval of the minutes of the meeting from Thursday, February 17th. Are there any additions or deletions or corrections to be made to the minutes of the meeting as printed? Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
To accept. Second.
Okay. Sandy, can we have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes.
Stephen Gagliotti,
Yes.
Michael Coughlin.
Yes.
Okay, approved. The next, we have a request from Richard Santos for the board to consider the Primal Instinct course as an acceptable alternative to the one-year piecing apprenticeship. Lisa, you're presenting on this?
Well, I am. I didn't realize Tess was not here today. He's here just to fill you in on the course itself. He knows all about this the course. He's a tattoo artist now.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so you realize all that. But yeah, so Rick's going to talk to you about the course.
All right, if you would, sir.
Yep. So
Go-
I'm looking,
Mr. Santos, can you state your name and address for the record?
Richard Allen Santos, 781 Jefferson Street, Fall River. So I am looking over the body piercing requirements to get licensed here in the studio. And I had a couple of questions under the training and experience for a practitioner. It states body piercers must present evidence of at least 1 year apprenticeship experience with no history of their piercing causing short or long-term health problems. In the case of those not having completed an apprenticeship, then documentation must be provided to the board for review to determine if it is acceptable. So that's what I'm here for now, is asking if this class in fact would cover that before I go and take the class. I've already been enrolled in the course. It starts April 4th, but I'd rather not dish out thousands if it's not acceptable. It has been accepted in the past, a few years back, for Ink Clinic, which was on South Main Street for 2 other body piercing guys.
Mhm.
But I know with time, the board changes personnel, and that's why I want to bring this up now before it's money out of my pocket and gets declined.
Okay, we understand that. If you're a tattooer, you already have all those preliminary courses, you're CPR certified, OSHA bloodborne pathogen certified. Lisa, is there anything else in the regulation other than the 1 year?
No, he has everything else.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he does.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Mr. Santos?
Do you recall the precedent that Mr. Santos was referring to earlier?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, so you were on the board then, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you approved it then?
Yes, it would be, it looks fine by me. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Dr. Gagliardi, any questions?
I mean, as long as the course covers all the potential problems and how to take care of it and how to prevent things, then
So I did make copies of the course objectives, and it does cover just about everything as far as anatomy, nerves, and the facial and different parts of the body, sterilization, healing process, problems and solutions, the proper tools and jewelry, and shop environment, exposure control. It covers everything that was required in the regulations. It's just that 1 year the 1 year apprenticeship, which was questionable in the way it's written in the
Mhm.
requirements.
So with a 1 year apprenticeship, that means someone would work with someone else exclusively for a year under supervision. That's it seems like a lot, but I think maybe with this course, maybe because there is no direct supervision, you're just taking the course without follow-up supervision. We could do something like review it in a year, and if there's no complications, then
Well,
it would
Mi-
count.
So,
Mr. Santos would come back in a year for the actual license. He would have an apprentice license temporarily. And then
All right, then.
we would have the
So-
full license in a year.
well, here's the question with that. Who would I be an apprenticing for? Because there is no one doing an apprenticeship. As far as the hands-on, this is a hands-on course. This isn't, read a book and it isn't that. It's actual hands-on course with someone who's experienced and has been training in about 30 years. I mean, it's
Is it
a school that's
is it a live
certified.
course or cadaver?
Excuse me?
Live people
Yeah,
or cadaver?
No, it's a live course in person. I'm gonna be doing it where we are required to do 30 plus piercings during this course of different parts of the body. So it's not like we're gonna have synthetic skin and we're not doing that. It's all real, actual hands-on course
On live people or cadaver?
on live people. I mean, I've given Tess, I don't know if she's handed everybody the copies that I handed to her, but I've handed in to Tess everything that the course covers, and it's all hands-on.
Who offers it?
It's Primal Instinct up in New Hampshire. This guy was licensed, or actually is licensed in a few different towns in Massachusetts right now, and is also licensed in New Hampshire. That's just happens to be where he resides and where he opened his school.
And how long will you be enrolled in the course?
It's well, there's a couple of different courses. The first one, I'll be there for a solid week. It's 7 straight days, 8 hours per day. And then there's other courses to follow after that if I wanted to get into different types of piercing.
That sounds
You're
pretty
only
good to me.
committing You're only committing to taking that first week, though.
That's the basic primary one for which would be ears, nose, mouth, eyelids, eyebrows, and stuff like that. I don't plan on doing genitals and stuff. That's definitely not my cup of tea.
I mean, a week-long course on live participants is that's a lot more than a lot of people do for medical procedures. So, and I think that's a pretty solid training. And if we're going to be reviewing it in a year, I mean, obviously, if there's a problem, we'd know about it ahead of time.
Mhm.
But as far as extensive training, that sounds pretty good.
So
I mean, it's
I
not
do
the
have
same
a-
as watching
do have
someone
a
for a year,
copy.
but that seems like a lot.
I do have a copy of the paperwork that Rick's talking about that he handed in. I can make copies and bring it down to the health department and have, Tess get that to you.
Sounds like Tess already has those, but
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know she gave them to you or
Is
not.
it's definitely not a fly-by-night school. You know, you can go online. It's in that paperwork there. The school, you can look it through and everything. Everything's there. There's no guesswork. You know, as far as the apprenticeship goes, I don't know how that would work. Again, there's no one here to apprentice me. Once I go to the school, I go to the school. There's no overhead guy over here.
The notion of an apprenticeship is pretty standard in the industry. It's not
Right.
that usual for one person to open a shop and there'd be nobody else there.
Right. The problem with that is if you got nobody that's willing to apprentice, what's your next bet? What do you do? Do you just step out? You know, I've been in this business for over 10 years. So as far as supplying equipment, I know all of the ins and outs about what the equipment is for, how it's used and everything else.
So
And then I
you've been
gotta tell you
tattooing for 10 years, but you haven't been body piercing for 10 years.
No, but I'm familiar with all the procedures and, you know, the health risks and whatnot. Yeah.
Now, if someone did an apprenticeship for a year with another body piercer, how often would they go and do this piercing? I mean, are you gonna go once a week for a year? Are they going 5 days a week for a year?
Well, that's
What
just
would
it.
What would an apprenticeship be?
Even with an apprenticeship, there's no set regulations on how many hours as of right now. So you can say I've been apprenticeship for a year and walked in the studio 3 times. Like, who's to say? You know? So there's a time limit, but there's no hourly
Yeah,
regulation.
and how do you know how many piercings someone actually did? What kind of didactics, what kind of, formal teaching on anatomy and procedures in an apprenticeship? This actually sounds a little more organized than, going into someone's shop and watching them do it. I mean, and how do we know the person giving the apprenticeship is performing things, teaching in the appropriate manner?
And before I
So-
leave this class, I will have had to execute at least 30 piercings myself on, a live person. It's it's pretty intense.
So you're looking to take this course as an alternative to the 1-year apprenticeship. Is that what we're
Correct.
looking at?
Yes. I mean, it has been accepted in the past, and
Mhm.
I just, like I said, I wanted to,
And then
I already
and
have
until you-
everything set up.
Right.
I just don't want to go and spend the money and then things be different.
And then until you complete the course and show us the documentation, you won't be doing any body piercings in your shop.
No. I mean, hey, my business is my number one, I don't make a living. I don't have anything without it. Lisa's been in here a few times. She knows my shop is pretty neat, I got things where it needs to be.
All right, do we want to vote?
Do we have a motion to accept this course as an alternative to the 1-year apprenticeship? I think that's the motion we're looking for. And
Motion
Mr. Santos, you will come back and let us know when you have graduated or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I plan on going. The course starts April 4th.
Mhm.
When that's complete, I'll revisit the city hall and I'll go down there to set up another meeting to see if I can get the license for the studio and everything else.
Okay, so do we have a motion? Ooh.
Motion to accept.
Second,
Okay, Sandy, can we have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes?
Stephen Gagliardi,
Yes.
Michael Coughlin.
yes.
Mr. Santos, good luck.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate
Good
your
luck.
time. Thank you.
Tess not being with us today, I don't think there's a director's report. Sandy, do you know if anything came in under citizens input?
There's nothing for citizens input.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we have to confirm the date for the next meeting. Traditionally, it would be the 4th Thursday of the month, which would be April 28th. I am not available April 28th. Would the 21st be okay?
Yes, so.
That's fine.
April the 21st, 4 o'clock?
Sounds good.
Okay.
We-
Sandy,
We have a couple more months. We can do this on Zoom, you know.
I would,
That was extended,
it was extended to July, I believe.
right.
Unless you want to go back to the city council chambers. I like
is
the
easy.
Zoom. It
This
is
easier
easy.
for me.
This is very
Okay.
convenient. This is very convenient.
Okay. Sandy, was there any other business of such a nature that it couldn't make the agenda?
No business.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion. Second,
Second? Sandy, can we have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes.
Stephen Gagliardi,
yes.
Michael Coughlin.
Yes.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Ladies, thank you. Everyone have a wonderful rest of the day.
You're
you.
welcome.
Hold on.